everybody, I'm Courtney Cooper, and this is Training Tip Tuesday. I am the owner of C Square Farm and a partner in Excel Star Sport Horses. I want to thank my husband Neil for being on the camera today. There he is. We're going to talk about going to Aiken or going to Florida today and how to make that happen. So I think the first thing people have to recognize is that it's not an all or nothing thing. You don't have to go for 3 months or not go at all. When I first started going, I went for 2 weeks in February, and I did day stalls at Full Gallop Farm, and I worked out of there, and I did a couple of competitions, and then I came home. But for me, right now, my business is buying and selling and training horses and teaching and competing my horses, and it gets real hard to do that by the middle of December and January in the Mid-Atlantic because the rain freezes. So we've been fortunate enough to purchase a farm down in Aiken. So we're going to go down right after Christmas. We tend to do a lot of business between sort of Thanksgiving and Christmas as people are looking for more horses. And so we go down the 26th of December. So how to work on things to go to Aiken or to Florida, how to make those decisions, that's what this chat is all about. So would love to know where you all are tuning in from. Would also love to have any questions from people on how to organize that, how to decide which competitions to do, and just basically how to set that up. Do we have anybody with any questions yet, Neil?
We have several people watching.
That's great news. All right, so Neil and I are going to work through what I've done here, and I'm a big list maker, as anybody who has watched Training Tip Tuesday knows. I tend to make lots of lists. And so the first thing I'll do is after the season, and I went into this last week a bit, is I go through all of, well, Reese will go through most of all of my tack. Reese and some other people that we have working for us. Reese is enjoying her last day of vacation today. We're glad to have her back tomorrow. But, so we'll go through everything in the trailers. We have, I think I've shown these before, lists of what's in every box, including toolboxes, medical boxes, and then we also have what we refer to as our junk trunk, which has odds and ends. That has a list. I just couldn't find it this morning, to be honest. And then the cooler trunks, we do a mix of coolers to both trailers so that we always have knits and fly sheets on both rigs, and then we have wraps and things. So we try to separate them. Luckily, we have enough equipment that we can separate them into trailers so that we always know that we're going to have things we need in both trailers and not have to move them too much back and forth. So we go through the list. We go through all of the tack, as we talked about before. I try to do that in November so that if there are any repairs that need to be made, that they're done before we hit the road the end of December, and we have the tack back. Try to put new keepers on things. It seems that every January we start the year with keepers, double keepers on everything, and by the time we get to this time of year, we're lucky if we have 2 slashes with 2 keepers. So it does get a little bit funny that way. So as you do this, you get to know what tends to get removed, falls off, all those other things. Do we have a question?
No. We have Mallory walking in the barn.
Oh, hey, Mallory. Mallory works for me. This is Mallory. Hi. And she's just going to grab her hat and her boots because she needs to leave. Go back to studying. Mallory just recently got her license. We're really proud of her. So anyway, thanks, Mallory, for your help today. So the other thing we do is we make a list of all the competitions. So these are all the competitions that we're planning to do. Some may get added, some may get subtracted, but I send this out to all of the people who come down to train with me in Aiken, plus anybody who is thinking about sending a horse so that we know if I need to compete the horse, sort of where they'll go. So what I do is I take the schedule and I look at it, and like I said, let's say I'm just going to come down for a couple of weeks, and I'm based in the Mid-Atlantic. Well, I know December, middle of December is probably going to be pretty rough going between the holidays and the weather. And then I know that I'm gonna lose some time in January because the ground's gonna get hard. So what I would probably do is I would shoot for late February, March time frame. So if I'm gonna do that, a lot of people come down Paradise Weekend. Paradise is a nice event because they run a 1 day on Friday. A lot of the professionals will do the 1 day on Friday, and then on the weekend they'll help the clients that come down, and then Monday is usually a holiday. Not sure how that's going to work this year with COVID and holidays, but that's usually, I believe, President's Day. And then, so some people might do that and then stay the week and then do Pine Top. Or they might come down and do Pine Top and then go to sporting days. What I would generally recommend is that you start a level below what you're currently competing. So if you finish the year, let's say at preliminary, you go and do a training outing to start, and then you go preliminary at your next outing. It's real important when you go to Aiken or to Florida, depending on how long you go, to plan your schedule so that you don't overwhelm the horses. It's something that's really easy to do because everybody's happy to be out in the warm weather. And so let's say you're going to go down and you're going to do Pine Top and then sporting days. So what I generally would recommend is that the horses come in no later than Tuesday or Wednesday of the Pine Top week. They do a flat day, and then maybe they do a light cross-country school just to jump ditches, banks, get their feet wet, do a little bit of a gallop. And then Friday they would do dressage. I'm assuming these are not intermediate or advanced horses because the second Pine Top, the intermediate and the advanced run on Friday. They run their dressage and show jumping on Saturday is the schedule at Pine Top, and then cross country on Sunday. Then Monday you'd have the day off. If you needed to work on your show jumping, Tuesdays is Tuesday is the day of the week that we go to Bruce's Field, and they always have lovely schooling shows. And then you could do that, or you could give them a flat day, a hack day on Tuesday. Wednesday, again, usually we do a flat day, a lesson, a light lesson. Thursday, we would probably do a show jumping school, and then you're back to doing a light flat school and back to competing at sporting days and then going home on Monday or Tuesday. Or you can see there are lots of different permutations and combinations, but I really find that for the biggest bang for your buck, if you can come down on a Tuesday, Wednesday, do a competition over the first weekend, spend the week, and do a competition the following weekend, and that works really well. Do we have any questions?
No questions yet.
Feel free to ask questions, guys. So in terms of figuring out which competitions you're going to do, that's when you just need to talk to your trainers. And then the other thing is trying to find stabling and accommodations. I know in Aiken, stabling and accommodations start to get real tight, especially in February, late February and March. And so for us, you know, we have a certain number of stalls for people who want to work with us. And so we're always happy to have those people come in. They just need to give us a phone call. If you want to work with us, let us know. I know a lot of trainers have setups where they can't take more horses. They might have an 8-stall barn, and maybe they're able to take 10 horses, and they come down with 8, and so they might have an owner or a student that comes in, but usually there aren't big fluxes. I know Paradise does day stalls. I know Full Gallop does day stalls. Those would be the two places. Jumping Branch has done day stalls. But if you're not going to come for an extended time period, it gets a little bit challenging to find places. Now, having said that, I think most people also, if you're going to work with them, are happy to save you stalls and with a deposit. COVID has been a very challenging and fluid situation for everybody because nobody really knows what it's going to do. It's running rampant right now, and we have a new administration coming in January, and there might be a mandate to shut down in terms of restricting travel, which may restrict us competing, which may be a factor. So I've also told the people that I work with that if you've only got 2 weeks and you know you've only got 2 weeks, that potentially I would consider coming down in January and doing the first stable view. And then we do dressage. I have a pre-St. George horse this year, which I'm very, very excited about, making his debut, and then do the February sporting days. So, how do we organize all that? So now you're going to go down, let's say, for 2 weeks. So you've got to figure out how much hay you want to take. Hay in Aiken and in Florida gets quite expensive because for our horses, they're on Timothy. Timothy's not usually sold down there, or else it's very expensive. They might have alfalfa and orchard grass, but coastal Bermuda is what's fed down there. I have had trouble with horses on coastal Bermuda, so we don't feed it. And so if your horses need their hay, you're going to have to figure out how to get hay down there, either in your truck or trailer, or possibly buying it from someone who's down there, or a feed store. So that's something you need to figure out how much your horse eats. I mean, obviously, in terms of grain, there are grain stores down there, so that's not an issue. And then in terms of accommodations, Airbnb has, I think, done a really good job. I know that we Airbnb our property while we're not there, and I know that they have a lot of cleaning requirements, so I know a lot of people have gone to Airbnbs, so that's an option. Certainly there are rooms as well. We currently have one room that we're going to rent out for the season that's available, and so that's also an option. So in terms of shipping your horses down, now most people aren't going to have such a complicated situation as we do, but for example, this is our chart from last year on what days horses were shipping, with who, how people were getting back and forth. We had 2 or 3 girls working for us, as well as Neil comes down for that week between Christmas and New Year's, and then I have to say goodbye to him. But how to get the horses back and forth, and it's one of those things that, again, it's a fluid situation in our barn, especially because we have sales horses, and so we need to figure out who's going where based on who's sold. So that's also important to figure out. If you've got, for example, if you're a professional, a young professional, and you've got 2 sales horses, how you're going to get them down there. If they're not sold, if you've got a 4-horse trailer and you've got 5 horses, is there a student you can piggyback a horse on, etc. And so those are really the big factors. Where's your horse's fitness? Where are you going to stay? What are you going to bring? We have a couple different options at our farm in terms of people coming as well. We've taken horses in training and had the people fly back and forth and train with us. Again, they've done coming in for the weekend, coming in Thursday night, training on Friday, and then competing Saturday and Sunday and flying out on Sunday. We've had people come Wednesday, sort of like they would with their horses, leaving their horses and training with us, and then coming in Wednesday, competing the first weekend, and then competing the first weekend, and then staying the week with us, and then being here the following weekend, and then flying home. It really depends on what you want to do, but we can be sort of full service. Most farms are set up that way, or we can have you come in and out. So that's pretty much Training Tip Tuesday today, and nobody has any other questions, or any questions, because we've gotten none. We'd love to talk to anybody who has questions, but we had a well, Bix is here. I don't know where the kids are. There they are. Hi. Are you game to go out and see the foals, Neil?
Sure.
Hi, Mama. So you can tell there's only one mom in here. So we weaned the twins, Ziva and Noah. And so their moms are gone.
Hi, Bits. Hi, Ghost.
A very good mother to little Ghost. So since he was born significantly later than the rest of them, eye boogers. Lots of eye boogers.
Robin wants you to talk about camper hookups.
Oh, we also have camper hookups. Thanks, Robin. Robin has a living quarters trailer, and that's actually a really good way to do accommodations as well. Is if you're going to be staying for long and you are concerned about COVID, is to rent a camper. We have 5 camper hookups at our place. I know that there are camper hookups in Aiken at different farms, as well as I'm sure there are camper sites. I don't know for sure where they are, but I know that there probably are some. The other thing is, and we didn't talk about it, don't bite me. If you're renting a facility as a professional or as an amateur, you need to keep in mind what you're going to need. Are you going to need to bring show jumps? That was always a big pain in the, you know what, when we did it. Because to bring a whole set of show jumps, we actually had to make another entire trip just with our show jumps. Now, again, we're lucky enough to keep those there, so that's not a problem. The other thing is, what are you going to do for waste disposal? It's not, we don't have that problem here. In terms of figuring out what to do, because we use straw, and so we have a mushroom company that comes and actually pays us to compost our manure. Oh, Noah's coming to get in on the act. But down there, they use shavings, and they don't have mushroom houses, and so we actually have to use a dumpster. And so you just need to keep all of that in mind. And if you're gonna, you're such a boy. If you're gonna do shavings, how often are you gonna get them? And you need to set that up beforehand. And if you're gonna be there for an extended time, stop. What are you gonna do about shavings? Because buying shavings, retail gets expensive, so we do ours wholesale. So I'm going to try to avoid ghosts now. See if we can get Noah. You're going to get attacked.
I know, I've got him. Hi, honey.
Hi, baby Noah. So here's Noah. I have to say, of the 2 babies, one definitely takes after our side of the family, and then Steva takes after her father's side of the family. Coronado. This one looks like he's directly out of our cooking. All right, Steva, you get a lot of speech friendly. Steva, unfortunately, is a little bit like her mother and her grandmother, a little standoffish.
Hey, darling.
Is she Dad?
No.
No. She is her own girl, like all the rest of them. So anyway, that is Training Tip Tuesday. Do we have any other questions, Neil?
No, somebody said they were loving it, but it scrolled by and I was busy not having a foal on top of me.
So anyway, the foals, just so you guys all know, is Ghost here will be weaned probably 2 weeks before we leave, and they'll get kicked out. And then they will stay up here with Neil. Yes, I know you want to bite me. And they'll stay up here and grow furry coats and learn how to go up and down those hills back there. So anyway, it's Training Tip Tuesday. I hope you enjoyed it. Next week, I'm not really sure what we're going to talk about. So if you have any suggestions, let me know, and we'll go from there. Hope you all stay well.